as we see women's politics rise in this era, not just around suffrage, but around so many of the issues you outlined earlier, do we start to see the emergence of what in the 20th century people call feminism? Is it time to start thinking about women's rights, women's activism in those terms?
It is time to start thinking about women's activism in those terms. In fact, the word feminism itself emerges in 1912. Historian Nancy Cott has sort of located the history of the word there. Women begin to call themselves feminists at that point. But feminism has a lot of different meanings, and here begins one of the struggles. So, you know, we think of feminism when we think of it as equality. But feminism, and sometimes we think about it as autonomy for women, but in the early part of the 20th century, women thought about feminism as not so much equality, although some of that, as the ability to access the rights of citizenship, whatever those rights, however those rights were imagined. And these questions that women have about their own politics, so those who argue for expediency, those who are convinced that domesticity and morality will govern women's vote even after they get the vote, become, we call them later, social feminists. And then those women who argue that women are just as good as men and they should have the vote because, after all, they are human beings. They become known as equality feminists. Now, social justice feminists or social feminists and equality feminists, what do they mean to us in the 20th century? But in the 1920s, as we're going to learn, they meant all the difference in how women related to each other and in how they related to the larger politics. I suppose you could say that that's a lead-in to our next conversation, but there it is. It's a puzzle that's on the table at the moment.